Hello, well today I am going to be reviewing the Canon 5D Mark IV. I've been promising this review for quite a while now, but today is the day that I'm reviewing it. It's not going to be your normal type of review with lots of stats, setting instructions, things like that. This is going to be a real world review. If you're familiar with this channel, you will know that I go out and about shooting landscape photography vlogs. So this is kind of what that video is going to be, but I'm going to be talking on the whole about this camera, the 5D Mark IV. I'm going to put it into the real world situation, taking some nice landscape photography. I'm hoping to capture a little bit of macro photography and some wildlife stuff as well, to really put the camera through its paces in the outside world, to really give you an idea of how this camera performs. So I've got a long journey ahead of me. It's early. I need to get my bags packed, hit the road so I can head to the Lake District where I've got a mountain to climb. Okay, let's go. Okay, so I've arrived, and as you can see, I finally got some sun on one of these trips. It's such a good feeling to have that, since many of the previous vlogs have been totally under cloud. Now today I'm going to be going up this hill here, just behind me, and as you can hopefully see there, the peaks are snow-capped, which I wasn't expecting today. There's another one behind me just here, and that's going to be exciting, getting up the top there, getting into some of that snow and seeing if I can pick up a few good pictures there. The 5D is going to be perfect for today because there's lots of contrast, so that dynamic range, the good dynamic range that the Canon 5D Mark IV has is really going to come into play. I've got a big climb ahead of me up that hill there, so I better get cracking and get up there. One of the things I'm going to be using this camera for is wildlife photography. I've done all my wildlife photography before on a Canon 5D. Some people like the crop sensor cameras, but this works just fine for me, especially when I've got it attached to my trusty 400mm f5.6. Right, just in front of me, there is a cow with an amazing landscape behind it. It's not the hardest wildlife to shoot in the world because they're pretty slow. They don't move very fast, but this one is quite a dark colour cow. So it's going to be a good test of whether this is a good camera for wildlife photography, but because of that black cow, the bright sky, it's going to be a good test of the dynamic range of this camera. The cow's just gone behind a bush, so I'm going to wait for it to peek free, and then I'm going to snap the shot. Now on a lot of occasions, a camera's dynamic range doesn't really matter. You just need to get the shot, stop worrying too much about the dynamic range and just shoot the shot that you've got to get. Somewhere where it does matter though is with landscape photography sometimes, and especially with video. So in front of me here I have the town of Keswick and Derwent Water, which is a lake in the Lake District. There's mountains surrounding it. The sun is shining down onto the lake and really providing lots of dynamic range. Now, when I see it with my own eyes, I've got everything. I can see everything. I can see the sort of reflections coming off the water. I can see the detail in the mountains. I can see some of the clouds that are forming a sort of mist around there. I can see it all with good exposure. Now, a camera can't automatically do that, and that's where the extra dynamic range of this camera is really going to come into play. So I'll just show you what I'm talking about here. As you can see, I'm shooting straight into the sun, and it's still doing a pretty decent job. I can lower the aperture number and get more of the ground well exposed, or I can increase that a little bit and then get some of the sky in there. I'm shooting straight into the sun, so it's a real challenge for the camera. Absolutely beautiful scene though, really, really nice. It's an awesome place to be. So really, that's absolutely brilliant, superb dynamic range for video with a DSLR. Right, I need to get cracking because I haven't gone very far yet, and I need to get to the top because I want to see those snow-capped mountains.
So don't fight it or you'll be fine. Don't stop fighting it or you'll be fine. All you ever do is build it up inside. All you ever do.
Now, one of the features I really like about this Canon 5D Mark IV is the time-lapse mode. Now, before I got this camera, I was having to use an external intervalometer or magic lantern, something like that, to create my time lapses. Now, the 5D Mark IV has it built in, and it's just a really nice feature that makes capturing time lapses just much, much easier. And when you're doing what I'm doing at the moment, it makes it really nice, and it really has good effects. I process them using Lightroom and Photoshop. There are other ways of doing it as well, but for me, it's working really well, and it's a nice feature to have on that camera. Fell runners. Those people are crazy. Not something I've ever been interested in. Although full respect to you, because it's not easy. They've gone a lot faster than me, but they weren't carrying a lot of camera gear with them, to be fair. I'm getting further up the mountain now, and it's getting pretty windy. Now, one of the main big features of the Canon 5D Mark IV is the much bigger and better resolution at about 30.4 megapixels. Now, there's a little composition behind me here. There's a snow-capped mountain right in the distance, and it's just, the sun is just tipping the top of it really nicely, and it's going to make a nice composition. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try getting the composition, shooting it vertically, and then I'm going to experiment with that bigger resolution and crop the image down to a landscape shot, because it's too far away for this lens to get it in landscape orientation, and see how detailed that shot looks. So once I've done that, I'll put it up here now, and you can see that this image was taken in a vertical position and then cropped horizontally in post-production, and it gives you a good idea of what that 30.4 megapixels of this camera can do for you. Right, so I'm getting a bit closer to the top now. As you can see, those snow-capped mountains are where I'm heading, and it's a beautiful day. The sun is coming and going, but it's creating some great shadows, some great light on those mountains, and it's just brilliant conditions for shooting. And like I mentioned on the last vlog, at this time of year, it's only about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but the sun is like it is about an hour or two before sunset during the summer, so the light is just tremendous. So perfect for landscape photography with the Canon 5D Mark IV. Right, there's just a couple of points to make about this camera and the way it was sold by Canon. The dual pixel RAW, which was one of the big things they talked about, which will let you make tiny adjustments in focus, in post-production, really forget about it. In practical terms, in daily use, that really isn't going to be any use to you. I haven't used it other than for experimentation, and it's really not something that is going to benefit me. Also, the 4K video, which it does have and is useful on some occasions, really again everyday practical use, because of that 1.74 crop and the file format that it uses, which just takes up so much space on your memory card. It's really not something that I think I will use, and I don't think many others will either, apart from when you desperately need 4K and this is the only camera that you've got. But if 4K shooting is what you need, I would look for something different than the Canon 5D Mark IV. Another downside is that it has compact flash still. They haven't gone for something a bit more future-proof, a bit faster, like CFast or XQD, and that's a real shame. But on the whole, the CF combined with the SD will do good enough on most occasions. So the big upsides of this camera, and really the reason you're going to buy this, is a few things. We've got that resolution, that 30.4 megapixel resolution, which for me as a landscape photographer, that really matters when I'm taking those big wide scenes. So that's one thing. It's going to be good for your portrait photography as well, when you really want that that fine detail in your shot. That resolution is going to mean everything for you as well. So what else does this offer? It offers the autofocus system that's straight off the 1DX Mark II, and I've got to say it's one of the best autofocus systems I've ever used on a camera. I'm just seeing birds flying around all over the place here. I should have had my long lens on and I could have snapped it. Anyway, The autofocus, talking about wildlife photography, it's important for that because it's just so fast on this camera, and it makes it a good camera for wildlife photography. And like I said before, that crop factor that you get from the 7D Mark II, things like that, it really doesn't make any difference to me. I just want the best quality camera with the best autofocus system I can get to capture those beautiful wildlife photographs. So you might be thinking, well, I'm a landscape photographer, what does the autofocus system matter to me? Because I'm usually shooting in manual focus. Well, I've just earlier, a bit lower down the mountain, I didn't film it, but I shot a handheld panorama where I'm going around like this to get a big panoramic scene. And it was good because it focused so fast between each shot that it just made moving around almost one fluid movement. And I think my panorama is going to come out much smoother and a little bit better than I normally get. When you're spending this amount of money on a camera though, you're talking marginal gains, so it isn't going to be a vast difference that you see, but it's those minor little details, those minor improvements that really can help your photography go to the next level. So any other things that you're going to use this camera for, like weddings, like portrait photography, like product photography, it's going to be absolutely perfect for that, and I can highly recommend it if you're a working professional or a very enthusiastic amateur. Then go for it, get this camera, because it isn't going to let you down with those kind of things. And as a wedding photographer myself, this is pretty much the perfect camera. Like I mentioned earlier as well, that time-lapse mode is brilliant, and all in all, I'm really happy with this camera. Now, as you can see, we've got this beautiful scene here. It's absolutely magical here. I'm going to continue getting to the top of this mountain, and I've got a sunset planned for sunset time. And the weather's playing ball at the moment for once. Hooray, because I haven't had much luck on some of the previous vlogs, as you may have seen. I will link all those other vlogs up down below for you to check out if you haven't seen them, and please do subscribe as well if you're enjoying this video. I know it's a little bit different. I just wanted to try an out and about real world review that was just a little bit different to something that everybody else is putting out there. So I hope you're enjoying it. Let me know down in the comments. This scene here is really nice. I've got the wide angle lens on and I'm capturing a long exposure. Another really nice feature for landscape photographers with this camera is that it's got a built-in bulb timer. So you just set the amount of time, you turn it to bulb mode, go into the settings, dial in the time that you want the shutter to stay open, and then just press the shutter button and it will start doing it. Obviously you need to focus first and get your composition set, but then go in, put the settings in, expose, and then you've got a nice long exposure photograph. And as you know, it's a big favorite of mine, and this image here will look like this. Look, the weather's closing in on me again. Just as I get to the top. Every time. Look at those clouds. I do, however, have this very warm and rather nice down jacket, which, if it's not raining, is absolutely fantastic and keeps me very warm, even in these wintry and high altitude conditions. Pretty much all the time you're rewarded for the effort you put in some shape or form. But every now and again, you put in the effort, everything lines up and falls into place, and the payback is huge. Just look at that view at the top of Skiddaw Mountain in the Lake District. Those 360-degree views that have now formed pretty much the peak of all of my vlogs. I'm at the top, the light is absolutely incredible. The payoff, if you can see the sun there, is going to come below the cloud line very soon, and I think I'm going to be rewarded with some beautiful light. So I'm going to get that 5D Mark IV out and put it to what it's made for me, and that's landscape photography. If anyone wonders why I love landscape photography, this is why. I've got the 5D Mark IV taking another time lapse, and it's just absolutely incredible up here. The wind's dying down nicely. It's perfect perfect light for landscape photography, and that 5D Mark IV is really going to make the most of that. Now, is it the camera for everyone? Definitely not. It's an expensive camera, especially in the UK when you take that exchange rate into account now. It costs almost $1,000 more in the UK than it does in the US. So it is a truly expensive camera. But if you're a working professional and you want the very best, then the 1DX Mark II is probably the one to have. But this is perfect for weddings, for landscapes, for wildlife. It's more portable, a bit more convenient than the 1DX Mark II, and for me it's just the perfect camera. I'm so happy with it, and I really wouldn't look anywhere else at the moment. Alternatives are your 7D Mark II if you just want wildlife photography. Like I said, the 5DS if you just want that high resolution, and then there's some good offerings from Nikon as well that have good dynamic range, if not a little bit better than this Canon 5D Mark IV. But overall, it's a great camera. If you buy it, you won't be sorry. It'll also hold its value pretty well as well, I would have thought. So I hope you have enjoyed this new style of review that I'm trying out. I've definitely had a great day. Hopefully I've captured some really nice shots. Like I said, that light's incredible. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this review style. And if you haven't done so yet, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel for videos every Sunday and every Wednesday. Hopefully there'll be more reviews like this. There'll definitely be more vlogs like this. And I'll see you on another video very soon. I'm going off to shoot some more photography because this light is absolutely insanely beautiful. I'm Adam. This is First Man Photography on top of Skiddaw in the Lake District. Out.